Welcome back. Well, so far we have gone through the entire network protocol stack. We started at the application layer, discovered transport layer, network layer, finally link layer. But what about network security? Well, we're going to cover it today. We're going to try to understand the principles of network security, things like cryptography, confidentiality, identification, message integrity, and we're going to look at some of the practices where security is used in a network, things like firewalls and intrusion detection systems, as well as different applications of the network security itself. What is it? What is network security? Well, we define it as 4 different parameters. Confidentiality, which means that only sender and intended receiver should understand the message contents. The sender needs to be able to encrypt the message, and the receiver needs to be able to decrypt the message. Authentication, which means that the sender and receiver must confirm identity of each other, which is particularly difficult when the sender and receiver do not see each other, different devices on different segments of the network. We have to ensure that we have message integrity, which means that the sender and receiver need to ensure that the message has not been alerted in transit or afterwards without detection. And finally, we need to ensure that access and availability exist, meaning that the sender and the receiver have access to encryption and decryption technologies. Well, what are the friends and enemies? Sometimes there are real people like Alice, Bob, and Trudy that want to be able to communicate in the real world, such as Bob and Alice, or Trudy, who may want to intercept, deliver, or alter messages between Bob and Alice. In reality, it could be real people, but in the network computing, we look at things like web browsers and servers, and the transactions that are used to conduct business electronically. It could be DNS queries. It could be routers exchanging information. All of those entities need to be able to encrypt information going from one entity to another and ensure all of those parameters that we discussed before, such as availability, integrity, and others. Well, what are or who are these bad entities? Could be real people out there, could be devices, and they can do different things to alter with messages. They can eavesdrop or intercept the communications. They can actively insert new messages or different messages in a connection. Think about routers exchanging information with each other and somebody breaking into the routers and rerouting the traffic somewhere else. They can be impersonators spoofing our devices. Things like rogue access points that may exist at airports or at our Starbucks cafes. Sometimes they can hijack our connections or perform something called a denial of service attack, when our servers get overloaded with requests and run out of system resources to be able to answer to the requests coming from different devices.